So a while back I was perusing the thrift store, as one does, and I came across this beauty. This is a mini claw machine, or a doll catcher as it says on the front. As you may know, I like to table at art events around town, and I also table with my art co-op, Geese Goose, and I thought this would be a perfect little addition to our tables. Now we do already have a vending machine, and I feel like this will make a nice accompaniment, doubling up on our gambling machines. Now at the time when I saw this in the store, I had no idea if it actually worked. I mean, if it got donated to the thrift store, then there was a pretty big chance that something is wrong with it. But there was no way for me to test it because it runs on 6 AA batteries, which I do not have on me at all times, and alternatively it also plugs into a USB port, which the thrift store does have an electronics testing station, but it doesn't have a USB port for me to test this machine on. So however, I consulted the group chat, and since this machine was only $5.99, we decided to chance it. So I bought it, I brought it over to my friend's house, and we immediately plugged it in, and words cannot describe our elation when we found out that it worked perfectly fine. Would you like to see it in action? Turning it on. Yes, look at the lights. It does have tokens, which you do have to reach under and grab. Kind of a hassle. Here are the plastic tokens. And to test out the machine, I just grabbed a random doll. Let's stick it in there. Forward, sideways. Sorry, hold on. There we go, no music. Anyway, as I was saying, the sideways motion is pretty slow. I think it tends to speed up a bit once it gets to the middle. Yeah, here we go. I don't know why it's so slow. I'm hoping to take the hood off of this bad boy and look at the machinery inside. As you saw, this one's forward and back. This one is side to side. This one is claw down, claw up. Look at that, pretty strong grip. This is not one of those scam claw machines that just lets go of the doll the moment you grab it. This one is legit. No, I ran out of time. Gotta insert another coin. Hey, but this machine does not really fit the vibe of my table or the Geese Goose tables, so for this video, I thought we'd give it a little makeover. Hi, my name is Emily, and I am an amateur claw machine makeover artist. Like, what do you even call this? Anyway, let's get cracking. So for the top here, I do want a nice Geese Goose blue. And of course I peel all the stickers off and give everything a good clean. I just happen to have the perfect shade of Geese Goose blue spray paint because that was the color I painted my little craft drawer years and years ago. And then for the awning up here, I'm going to give it alternating red and white paint. I'm just going to use acrylic paint for this because I don't really want to buy more spray paint. I don't really use spray paint all that often. And this is based on a design I did for our banner. Was it red and white or was it red and yellow? I think it's yellow. All right, change of plans. Red and yellow banners. So because I'm going to be using yellow paint, I am definitely going to have to prime the awning with white primer first. I did just buy a new can of primer, so that'll come in handy. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave these guys this beigey off-white color or if I would paint them stark white. Maybe the awning down here could use a little red and yellow action. Little stars and little goose footprints. Anyway, for the interior, I think I want to replace the ground with green. And then for the background, I think I want to continue that grassy color. There's this one poster we have with a big cherry blossom, so maybe big cherry tree in the middle. Here we go. Purpley blue sky. I'll probably choose way better colors than this. This is just a mock-up. Have a little geese playing around in there. That's a goose, I promise. Maybe this will help. There, goose. Alright, I think we got a cool plan in mind. So I guess right now I'm just going to have to start taking everything apart. By the way, if you hear that really loud rumbling in the background, that's my neighbor's AC unit, which is right outside my window. Very inconvenient, I know. I've got my teeny tiny screwdriver. Hopefully, I'll be able to put all this back together after the fact, because if I can't, that would be very upsetting. Here's a life hack. Apparently, if you attach a magnet to a screwdriver, it magnetizes it. Look at that. This piece of cardboard is falling out. I did send the mock-up to the Geese Goose chat for approval. They seem to like it, so we are going ahead with my plan. Alright, this is the last screw, and then we should be able to pop the top off. Yes! Carefully. Ta-da! Oh, what? There's this weird little guitar pick up here. I guess that's what's rattling around in there. What is this? Kiss Mickey Mouse? Interesting find. Let me set that aside. I'm very interested to see how all of this is functioning up here now that I can actually see the machinery. So here's the forward and back motion sideways. I'm hoping this will reveal why the sideways motion is so rocky and slow. These teeth look alright to me. Maybe it's some kind of wiring issue. Actually, I wonder if this cardboard on the back has anything to do with why the sideways motion is so rocky. Maybe it's just in the way. That would be a nice simple solution. Let's give this another try. Truth be told, I have no idea if it looked any faster. Anyway, let's just continue taking this apart. Look at all that wiring inside. Dang. This little bit right here is where the music comes out of. Now I'm going to very carefully figure out how I can go about this. All the buttons and joysticks and stuff, it's all connected to this panel down here, and this has got screwdrivers on it, so it should be able to just disconnect. And once it disconnects, it'll be a lot easier to spray paint these pieces. Can you see how dirty the screen is? We need to give this whole machine a good wipe down. Well, I guess the top and bottom are still connected, so I didn't really accomplish anything. But at least I can spray paint this separately now. What does it say on here? Wawa Ji-san, that means Stall Machine 3. 2021, August 21st. Wow, this machine is 5 years old. Anyway, my next step is to... Now that this cluster of wires is disconnected, I can pull this white part away from this base, presumably. I just have to undo all the screws inside. So unfortunately, this is put together in a way where once it's put in, it's impossible to take out. You see the little wedge designed to lock in place here. I got the big guns out. It did nothing except maybe damage the wedge a little. I will just have to spray the top and bottom as one piece. But that also isn't super ideal because the plan was to remove these acrylic pieces on the side, and the only way I can do that is if I can pop these two apart, which I can't do. When I spray it, I'll just have to mask off the areas that I don't want to be painted, obviously. Can't decide if I want to stay this peachish color or if I'm gonna spray paint it white. I guess I'll spray paint this blue first and see how the colors look together. All right, that's a plan. Through the power of a million shims, I finally got one of the legs free. These are the shims. I did nick the wire here a little bit, but hopefully it's gonna be okay. And now we can take this piece of acrylic out. Yay. The reason I didn't want to give up on completely dismantling the top from the bottom is because I realized once I make a new backing piece, I will need a way to be able to slide this in. The way I got this out is through brute force, actually, as you might be able to tell from how messed up the corners are. And I don't want to go through that kind of trouble to put the new backing piece in. So I figured I just had to find a way to take this apart. Anyway, let's do some more shimming. I think this is as much as I can take it apart. The shimming is not working on these two posts for some reason, so I'm just not gonna bother. So now I'm going to start masking things off in preparation for painting. Now that everything is masked off, let's take it all outside to be painted. But maybe after dinner because it is so unbelievably hot today. I'm sweating just sitting here. For now, I can paint the base this beautiful aqua blue color, and I'm also going to prime the awning section with this plain white primer. Yeah, let's see how this goes. This primer can be handled after 1 hour, at which point I'm going to come back, tape off all the white parts, and spray the top with this blue paint. Alright, see you in an hour. So it is actually too dark to do anything, so I'm just going to bring all of this inside and tackle this tomorrow. I'll see y'all then. I have decided that I do like the combination of this blue with this peachish white color. So that means I'm not going to spray paint any of these pieces, and that also means that I taped up the sky for no reason. Not really looking forward to being out in the sun in the middle of the day. It's also quite windy, so as you can see, the little lid is going on a bit of a carousel ride. Whoa, look at it go. Anyway, let's get to work. Calm down, guy. Alright, spin around. Okay, this is too much waiting. Oh, come on. Spin it around. Okay, so not as perfect as I was hoping. You can see some of the blue spray paint snuck under the tape here, and also some of the paint back here got peeled up by the green tape. This is the reason you should generally scuff sand the surface that you're spray painting. Since this is on the back of the lid though, I think it should be alright. Here's a preview, Claw Machine 2.0. Now let's get painting the awning. This seems like a very chill, calming activity, but I'm watching Red Dragon. After painting, I used a light blue acrylic marker to draw on the stars and geese footprints on the roof, although I ended up kind of hating it, so don't hold it too fondly in your head. I also decided the signs on the control panel were too hard to see, so I painted them bright red. Yes, here you can see I definitely hated the stars and footprints, so I wiped them off with some alcohol. That did get rid of most of the drawings, but I did end up with some scratches and ghosting that I needed to spray over later. So I realized I did kind of a silly thing where it's like, why did I take all the masking off of this piece when I'm just going to take it back out to be sprayed with varnish anyway? So now I'm going to have to remask all of this, and I did decide that I'm not going to paint any of this little scalloped edge here or this scalloped edge here, because with the debacle I just went through last night with all the extra details on the roof that I ended up not liking, I think I'm just gonna keep the base nice and simple. Alright, more masking. Nice and flat and clean again. Before I spray varnish this piece, however, I am going to seal the acrylic painted part with my ancient Mod Podge water-based sealer, just because the spray varnish does have the tendency to make acrylic painted surfaces extremely sticky, and I don't want that. Just gonna prop this up a bit. Vending machine that I got from a thrift store. I do plan to also customize this someday, but I just have to figure out what kind of things I'm supposed to sell in here first. Brush. while waiting for all of that to dry, let's draw a new backdrop. And if you see the mysterious wind blowing at my hair, I have the fan on. The room reeks of the varnish. For the backdrop, I used the cherry blossom tree from one of our posters, but I rounded off the tree itself just to give it a more soft, bubbly look. I outlined everything for some definition and drew in a goose family. Look at them just hanging out. I printed it out on photo paper and also printed out this meadow and lake on sticker paper for the floor and laminated them for extra durability. Air bubbles. Ugh. Look at this, nice and holographic. Most importantly, no bubbles. And as you might have saw, I also printed out a bunch of these business cards that I hand out. I love how shiny they are. The next day, I attached the backing to a piece of cardboard. I tried to peel the sticker off of the base, but it was really fighting me, but I also didn't really need to do a perfect job. I just wanted to prevent any of the old sticker from peeking out from the new sticker. By the way, I did try the hairdryer trick, but it didn't really work. Anyway, once I peeled off as much as I could, I painted around the edges with a green marker just to hide the original pink chassis, and once that was all dried, I carefully stuck down the new floor. The new backing was easy enough to slot in since I successfully tore the machine apart, and look at the geese, partying. Then it was time for one final spritz and then reassembly. And with that, we are ready for the final reveal. So there we have it, my beautiful new claw machine. It's currently running on just a mobile charger on the back. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use the 6 AA batteries for the event or not. And speaking of the event, this is going to be debuting at the Geese Goose Summer Gander this Sunday. I know it's kind of short notice, but August 9th, come to the Beaumont. You will see this baby there and you can get your own little butt sniffer sticker. By the way, I thought about making my own custom coins for this machine, but I just don't really have time to figure out all the measurements and stuff to make sure it'll actually trigger the mechanism properly. I still have to figure out the logistics of the capsules I used inside because the claw does need quite a bit of clearance around each capsule to be able to grab the egg properly. So I do need to space them out, or maybe even take one out just to make sure there's enough space for the claw to maneuver around. But I love the way the eggs look. I think the colorful look is very fitting. Thank you to my friend for lending me these eggs. And yeah, that will be it for this video. I really love how this turned out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!